Hey Leafs Nation, welcome back to Toronto Maple Leafs News Network, your go-to channel for everything blue and white. We've got a jam-packed episode today covering some of the most exciting and crucial updates that surfaced just a few hours ago. If you're a die-hard Leafs fan, you won't want to miss this one. And hey, if you're new here, hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss out on the latest Maple Leafs news, game breakdowns, and insider insights. Alright, let's jump right into it. Update 1. Auston Matthews and William Nylander dominate as Leafs crush Flames 6-2. The Toronto Maple Leafs delivered a statement win last night, crushing the Calgary Flames 6-2 in an electrifying showdown. The duo of Auston Matthews and William Nylander led the charge, proving once again why they are the heart and soul of this team. Matthews was an absolute force, netting 2 power play goals and adding an assist, while Nylander contributed a goal and 2 assists. These two were unstoppable, and their chemistry on the ice was on full display. But they weren't the only ones lighting up the scoreboard. Max Domi stepped up with a goal and an assist, and both Nick Robertson and Bobby McMann chipped in, ensuring Toronto dominated from start to finish. The turning point, one of the defining moments of the game, came in the second period. With Toronto up 3-1, Matthews, in classic sniper fashion, ripped a shot upstairs on Calgary's goalie Dustin Wolf, completely sealing the deal. Not long after, he found the back of the net again, his 26th goal of the season and 3rd in just 2 games. Meanwhile, Mitch Marner continued to etch his name into Maple Leafs history. With an assist on Nylander's goal, he recorded his 60th assist of the season, making it the 4th time in his career he's reached that milestone. That puts him ahead of franchise legend Borje Salming for the most seasons with 60 or more assists in Maple Leafs history. On the other side, Calgary struggled. Rasmus Andersson and Kevin Ball managed to get on the board, but the Flames, who are fighting for a Western Conference wildcard spot, just couldn't keep up. Dustin Wolf allowed 5 goals on 26 shots, leading to him being pulled after 2 periods. Dan Vladar took over in relief, but the damage was already done. Special Street Patrick's Day jerseys. Oh, and did you notice the Leafs were rocking something different last night? That's right, they wore their green and white St. Pat's jerseys, a throwback to when the team was called the Toronto St. Patricks between 1919 and 1927. A perfect way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with a dominant win. Next up, the Leafs have a huge matchup against the Colorado Avalanche, while Calgary will look to regroup when they visit the New York Rangers. This win was exactly what Toronto needed to get back on track. But can they keep the momentum going? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Was this the turning point of the season? Update 2. Brandon Carlo, the defensive anchor Toronto desperately needed. When the Maple Leafs traded top prospect Fraser Minten to the Boston Bruins for Brandon Carlo, a lot of people were skeptical. Did Toronto overpay for a stay-at-home defenseman? Would he even be a good fit for the team? Well, so far so good. Carlo has only played 4 games in a Leafs jersey, but the impact is already noticeable. He's bringing stability to the blue line, and his pairing with Morgan Rielly is starting to look like a legit top pairing for Toronto. Numbers don't lie, Carlo is delivering. Analytics fans, listen up. Carlo's impact isn't just a gut feeling, the numbers back it up. Through his first few games, Carlo has an expected goals for percentage, XGF percent, of 60.5%. That's a huge stat, especially considering that most of the Leafs roster has been struggling in this area. And while he hasn't put up any points yet, his physical presence has been undeniable, racking up 7 hits and 9 blocked shots in just a handful of games. Finally, a true partner for Morgan Rielly. For years, the Leafs have struggled to find the perfect defensive partner for Morgan Rielly. We've seen experiments with different pairings, but none of them ever seem to truly stick. But with Carlo in the mix, that could change. Carlo is a defensive-first, reliable, stay-at-home defenseman, which allows Rielly to do what he does best: jump into the rush, drive offense, and create plays without worrying about getting burned defensively. If this chemistry continues to develop, the Leafs might have finally found the shutdown pairing they've been looking for. Injuries and depth concerns. Toronto's blue line has been battered with injuries all season long. Chris Tanev just returned from injury. Jake McCabe has already been out twice. Oliver Ekman-Larsson is still solid, but nowhere near the player he was a decade ago. This means Carlo's presence is even more valuable. He brings consistency and reliability, 2 things Toronto's defense has been lacking. Was the trade worth it? Losing Fraser Minten, a promising young forward, definitely wasn't easy. But let's be honest, Toronto's biggest issue wasn't offense, it was defense. If Carlo ends up being the difference between a first-round exit and a deep playoff run, then this trade will be looked at as a huge win for the Maple Leafs. So, Leafs fans, what do you think? Was trading for Carlo the right move? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Update 3. Craig Berube sends a warning. The Maple Leafs must play with more urgency. Alright Leafs Nation, we've talked about Toronto's dominant 6-2 victory over the Calgary Flames and the major impact that Brandon Carlo is already making on the blue line. But now let's turn our attention to something even more pressing. The mindset of this team and the message that head coach Craig Berube has delivered loud and clear. Berube is not here for excuses. He sees the potential in this roster, but he also sees the lack of urgency that has been creeping into their game. And for him, that's unacceptable. The Maple Leafs are in a position where every single game matters. Every shift, every battle, every moment on the ice is critical, and yet there have been times when this team has lacked the hunger necessary to win at the highest level. This isn't about talent. Toronto has plenty of that. This is about desire. It's about showing up to every game with the mindset that losing is not an option. Berube has made it clear to his players that they can't afford to sit back and expect things to fall into place. They need to take control of their own destiny. The playoffs are just around the corner, and if they want to be a serious contender, they need to start playing like one right now. The frustration within the locker room is evident. The players know they haven't been at their best, and Berube sees that as a positive sign. Frustration means they care. It means they understand that things need to change. But understanding isn't enough. Action is what matters. There's no time to dwell on past mistakes or wait for things to magically improve. The Leafs need to be the ones dictating the pace, setting the tone, and playing with the intensity of a team that refuses to lose. One game that perfectly illustrated Berube's concern was the recent loss to the Ottawa Senators. It wasn't just that Toronto lost, it was how they lost. The Senators were the hungrier team. They battled harder, played with more aggression, and outworked the Leafs in nearly every aspect of the game. That's the kind of performance that Berube will not tolerate. He expects his players to respond, to rise to the occasion, and to show that they can be just as relentless as any other team in the league. Looking ahead, Berube is emphasizing the importance of taking things one step at a time. The Leafs still have 2 games in hand, but those extra opportunities mean nothing if they don't take full advantage of them. Their next challenge comes against the Colorado Avalanche, and if they want to prove that they're serious about making a deep playoff run, they need to bring everything they've got to that matchup. There's no more room for complacency. This is a defining moment for the Maple Leafs. Berube's message is clear. Either they step up and play with the urgency required to win, or they risk falling short when it matters most. The clock is ticking and the time for action is now. So, what do you think, Leafs Nation? Do you believe this team has what it takes to flip the switch and play with the intensity needed for a deep playoff push? Or do you think Berube's words need to be backed up with even more drastic changes? Let us know in the comments. And with that, we wrap up today's episode. From a dominant victory over Calgary to the impact of Brandon Carlo and now Berube's challenge to the team, there's no shortage of storylines heading into the next few games. The Leafs have all the pieces to be a true contender. Now it's just a matter of putting it all together when it matters most. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the latest Maple Leafs updates. Turn on notifications, drop a comment with your thoughts, and let's keep the conversation going. I'll catch you all in the next one. Go Leafs, go!